Hi, this is Dodger, and you're watching my show.
Three, two, one, ready, go!
Alright, before we do anything else, a huge apology to Obsidian Entertainment, who make Pillars of Eternity, because in the last video, somehow, I don't know what happened to my brain, but I confused Pillars of Eternity with Path of Exile, I think because they both are shortened to the acronym POE in their communities, and I was like, oh, yeah, I know that game. And so I was very confused when everybody in my comment section was like, what are you talking about? They're nothing like each other. What are you saying? So I feel so bad. I'm so sorry. I hope you will forgive me. I hope you don't hate me. And I hope that your expansion did super well, because I have played actual Pillars of Eternity and it's great. So there you go. So you've probably heard about it by now, but our first piece of news, if you are a Pokemon fan, you'll be very excited, is that Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon were both announced during the Nintendo Direct. There was a trailer, and a lot of people are feeling sort of like they didn't really get a whole lot out of it, unfortunately, because the trailer was a pretty substantial montage being like, hey, 20 years of Pokemon, thank you guys so much for, being part of the community. You're all super awesome. I can't believe it. Wow. Cool. Awesome. And then they started showing, concept art for Pokemon Sun and Moon. A lot of which has Pokemon in trucks. I don't know why. I don't know how that's going to really, work into the meta of the game, but I'm sure that it's going to switch things up. But either way, there wasn't a whole lot to really grasp in terms of what Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon are. Some people are hoping that the titles of Sun and Moon will play into the new evolutions, so that could be a thing. Other people are really busy making fun of how many different sort of weird titles the Pokemon creators can come up with, i.e., oh man, next they're gonna have Pokemon Salt and Pokemon Pepper, which I would totally play because that sounds like it would be a wild ride. But I'm still really stuck on the whole truck thing. I just really want to know why there are Pokemon in trucks in all of their concept art. I'm just so confused about that. Another cool thing, Pokemon-wise, that you might want to know is that Red, Blue, and Yellow are all on sale for $10 right now. So that's pretty cool if you would like to relive the first iterations. I was a Pokemon Blue player myself. I had a friend who played Pokemon Yellow, and I was very jealous because I really wanted a Pikachu. That marketing, it totally worked on me. Yeah, if this information has gotten you really jazzed about Pokemon and you're like, I just want to play it so bad, you can go back and play some Red, Blue, or Yellow and have a grand old time. A pretty cool nod to David Bowie showed up in the new patch for Final Fantasy XIV, patch 3.2. There's a new dungeon called the Anti-Tower Dungeon, and when you go into it, there are a couple of creatures with names that you might recognize. In the dungeon, there is a Spriggan named Ziggy, and then a bunch of, big clouds, big bright clouds that are called Stardust. So a lot of people are playing it and really giving a big old clap to the localization team for doing that. It was found by the Redditor Light Samus, so thank you so much for pointing it out to everybody. And I would be so fascinated, so interested to find out whether or not the localization team gets to just kind of do whatever they want in terms of names, and maybe it was entirely them, or if it was kind of a collaborative effort across Square Enix just in general, and they all wanted to do sort of a tribute. Along with that, there are all kinds of new patch things. Everybody was telling me that I needed to check out the hairstyles, and I still don't have my top bun, my man top bun that I really want for sweet Jisuya. But there's lots of cool things that have been added, as well as, obviously, dungeons and things like that. They've added on to the story, which is super cool. Any of you who have gotten to the end game for Heavensward and have been just waiting for a patch to come out that would add to the story, this is a really big one that's added a lot of cool stuff. And of course, just to throw it out there, Final Fantasy XIV I still think is the best MMO I've ever played. So, if you're looking for an MMO to play, maybe you should check it out. I don't know, it's pretty great. Ever since the price tag for the Oculus was announced at $599, people have wondered how much other VR headsets and VR systems are going to be costing. Now I will say, I think that Oculus made a huge mistake in ever saying that it would be around $400, because obviously that wound up not being true at all. But the Vive has now also announced how much their product is going to be, and it's going to be $799. Now you might say, whoa, people got angry about Oculus, and people definitely got upset about Vive costing $800. You kidding? Turns out that is not the case at all. It's really not a big deal to a lot of people because, for whatever reason, the number that was floating around the internet was $1,000. People were saying, oh, well, I mean, the Oculus sure is going to be like $600, but the Vive is probably going to be like $1,000 because, you know, it comes with like little dinky dinks to put around your room so that you can walk around and blah, blah, blah. It's not like a sitting situation. So it was quoted pretty high, but not by the company. Like, HTC never said that the Vive was going to be $1,000. That was just the number that kept floating around that people started to, you know, believe. So when they said, oh, it's going to be $799, that wound up being like, oh, that's not too bad. And I literally think it comes down to Oculus circulating a number that was way too low and then announcing an official number and having it be, you know, a couple $100 more than what they originally said, versus HTC, who never said a number. They never floated out a number. Their PR never said like, oh, it'll be $1,000, which even if they had, at least they would have gone high, right? Like, at least they would have said, well, I mean, it's probably going to be around $1,000, and then in the end said, it's actually 800. You know, like, either way, going higher is always going to be better than going lower. And maybe the guys at Oculus thought, oh, well, if we say, you know, around the like 400 to 500 ballpark, then, you know, people are gonna feel like it's more affordable, much like a $400 or $500 console. But that has a blowback, right? Because then in the end you're like, this is actually really, really expensive to make, and we spent years on it, and we really need to make that money back, so it's actually going to be more, like a decent amount more. So yeah, I'm excited for both. I'll be totally honest with you. I haven't tried out Morpheus. I've heard that Morpheus is fantastic. I have tried out the Oculus, and it was nice, but not like extremely comfortable. So I would be interested to see what other headsets are like. And the Vive, I'm mostly just really intrigued by because it comes with like these weird nodes that you can stick around and create a space for yourself to exist in like a virtual world or do something like that. Or like people like TB. TB was saying that he's really excited for, you know, any kind of a VR system that's gonna let him pretend that he's somewhere else, right? To just be like, nope, I'm in a really cool place. I'm not home right now. Or when you're on the plane. He hates flying, so he was like, if I'm on the plane and I can put on a headset and pretend I'm not on the plane, A+. That's like all I want out of VR right now. So, you know, everybody wants different things out of that. And hopefully when people spend this money, they walk away saying, wow, that was totally worth it. And part of that is going to be up to the development companies to make games that really suit our needs and the things that we want. Are you guys excited for the Minecraft movie? Because I'm curious. I'm morbidly curious about how that's going to go. We've learned a bit more information about what the Minecraft movie is going to be like, or at least what they're aiming for, which is a little bit interesting. So, Roy Lee, who produced the Lego movie, was saying that they're aiming for the same audience that watched Jurassic World, which I don't know if that means we're trying to make it a PG-13 movie. That would be strange. Or if they're saying, oh, well, we want to like grab that same group of people who are like really imaginative and want to like see dinosaurs, right? Like they want that same group of people who are going to be like, whoa, Minecraft, but it's a movie, this is great. You know, aiming for more of that sort of a thing. And obviously because he produced the Lego movie, like I'm sure that audience would cross over pretty well. We also got a little bit of information about the setting. I'll just read the quote. Minecraft would be part of a multiverse where humans can enter that has the feel of what the live-action version of a Minecraft experience. Watson, what are you doing? Do you want to be in the show? Is that what's happening right now? Oh, instant purrs. Fame. You're addicted to fame. You're addicted to love. And for anybody who is concerned, Mojang will be very, very involved in the creation of the movie. Also, I'm surprised that it took so long for people to start correcting everybody about how to say the name of that company. Like, I don't know anybody who calls it Mojang. But when you ask people who like have actually met those guys, they're like, oh, they prefer that you say Mojang. And I'm like, it's too late, man. It's too late. Everybody's already calling it Mojang. You can't go back now. That's how it's known. Rob McElhenney is going to be writing and directing the movie, which should be interesting because he's one of the Always Sunny in Philadelphia guys. And they don't know when to really project for the movie to be out, but they know they're going to start production in late 2016. So it's like around the corner-ish, I guess. A couple of days ago, a trailer for Uncharted 4 was published. It was the story trailer for the game, and a lot of people were very excited about it. Most of the people who watched the trailer walked away going, man, that game looks really good. But there was a very select group of people who watched it and said, what is this? Those people happened to work at Ubisoft. And why? Why on earth would they watch this trailer and be like, oh, hell no? It's because in the trailer, there's a point where Nathan Drake looks up at a painting, and that painting is not just similar to, not just reminiscent of, it is an exact piece of concept art from Assassin's Creed. How does that happen? How does that happen? Like obviously there must have been some kind of mistake, like the Ubisoft guys must be wrong, or like something happened with Naughty Dog, right? Like what's going on here? And both companies have acknowledged that it happened. Like, even Naughty Dog, they're like, our bad. That was, oh my, I don't even know how that happened. Hold on, we'll fix this. Literally ripped down the trailer and put it back up really quick with a completely different picture in there. Now they're blaming it on their eagerness. They're saying, well, we were just so excited to get this trailer out. We overlooked some things. We didn't do our due diligence in terms of where the art came from, which is just bonkers. It's bonkers to me. And whether it was sort of oddly maliciously done, or if there was somebody who was just asked to create that art asset and was like, I'm just gonna go on Google. It's fine. I'm just gonna look it up and it'll be fine. And put just whatever old picture they found up there. Either way, it's like a huge problem, right? For a company that's as big as Naughty Dog to put up another major company's concept art in their trailer? Like, what is this? Not only that, there's a part later on in the trailer that looks very reminiscent to the picture. So like, imagine, if you will, in this trailer, Nathan Drake looks at the photo, or looks at the painting, or what have you, and then suddenly it goes to an in-game environment that looks very similar to that picture, right? So now people are questioning, well, did they use that as their own concept art to create an environment that happens in the game? And if they did, that's also like, wow, there was something happened there. There was a big disconnect. So obviously Naughty Dog have totally apologized to Assassin's Creed, and Ubisoft have said, we're so sorry, I don't know how this happened. Obviously we have no idea how this happened either. Some people are saying there was an animator that moved from Ubisoft to Naughty Dog not too long ago, and right around that time, the Ubisoft guys were like, oh, we didn't put ladies in the game because that's like a lot of work, right? Like that whole thing. And then that animator who moved over was the one who said, it's so much work to make women, am I right, guys? And totally just slammed on his old company. And so now, of course, this has opened the door for Ubisoft to be like, oh man, I guess our like dumb game, our art's apparently great because you guys can't make your own, huh? It's just like, oof, these two companies, oof. For our final bit of news, Fallout 4 is getting a revamped survival mode that a lot of people have been interested in, but all that information has not come out yet. Fortunately, there's data mining, so we basically know everything already. According to the Redditor, Ray Cougar, I guess that's how you would say that, there's a big old list. So, manual and quick saving are disabled. To save your game, you'll need to find a bed and sleep for at least an hour. Combat is more lethal for everyone. You deal but also take more damage. You can increase the damage you deal even further with adrenaline. Fast travel is disabled. Bullets and shells now all have a small amount of weight, which varies by caliber. Enemies will no longer appear on your compass, as well the distance at which locations of interest will appear has been significantly shortened. Survival automatically grants an adrenaline perk, which provides a bonus to your damage output. You have to take proper care of yourself. You must stay hydrated, fed, and rested to remain combat ready. Going for extended periods of time without food, water, or sleep will begin to adversely affect your health, hurting your special stats, adding to your fatigue, lowering your immunity, and eventually even dealing physical damage to you. Fatigue works like radiation but affects your action points rather than your hit points. The more fatigue you build up, the less AP you'll have for other actions. A comprised immune system and a few questionable decisions can end up getting you killed via sickness. Eating uncooked meat, drinking unpurified water, taking damage from disease, such as ghouls or bugs, or using harmful chems, all put your body at increased risk for various ill effects. There's just like so much here, guys, and it's all been data mined. The thing I've seen people respond to the most is no fast travel, oddly enough. Out of all of these things, out of all of this stuff, and I only read like half of it, right? Out of all of this stuff, people are saying, you know what actually really adds to the feel of playing Fallout 4 is not using fast travel. Because that's how you have more random events. That's how you run into things you never would have run into before. Like, fast travel actually sort of takes away from the experience of playing the game. So, looking at this list of, survival mode stuff, a lot of people have responded saying, I'm glad that they're taking out fast travel because that'll actually add to the game. Having to go everywhere on foot, that's going to make a huge difference. Now, I'm sure to many of you, you're thinking, oh my god, I'm going to have to go everywhere on foot. Like, are you kidding me? But again, it's a mode. It's a game mode. You don't have to play it this way. And they've added a lot of things in to make certain things easier and more difficult for you. So it should be an interesting way to play. I would not do it. I would not. But I'm sure some of you out there would. So, enjoy. But anywho, that's been my show. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a positive or a negative response, feel free to leave it in my comment section. And if you would like to have coffee with me, I haven't done one in forever. But I would love it if you would check out my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/dexteritybonus. I've been doing a show every Saturday morning called Saturday Morning Duger. It's kind of like an hour-long coffee time, and it's been really, really fun. I interact with chat a lot. I would love to see you guys there. But otherwise, yeah, I'm gonna go, I guess, play something. Street Fighter V or Super Hot or, I don't know, The Witness. I started like 4 games today for the very beginning of 4 games, so now I'm gonna have to just figure out which one I want to play. But I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your weekend and beginning of your week, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye! Mwah.
Go!
You're addicted to love.
Yeah.